Loneliness isn't the villain we paint it to be. We run from it, sprinting toward noise, crowds, anything to dodge its gaze because we fear it's a void that will swallow us whole. But what if it's not? What if loneliness is a teacher, patient and stern, waiting for us to stop fleeing and sit with it? When you do, when you plant your feet and let it wash over you, it doesn't just sting, it speaks. It hands you lessons, raw and unpolished, that you'd never grasp in the blur of distraction. These aren't quick fixes or feel-good platitudes. They're truths carved from silence, lessons that demand courage to learn. Here are 10 of them. 10 gifts loneliness offers if you dare to stop running and listen. Lesson 1. You are your own anchor. You've spent years leaning on friends, lovers, family to steady you when the world tilts. Loneliness strips that away. At first it feels like free fall. No one's there to catch you and the ground seems miles away. But then you land, shaky but standing, and you realize something wild. You're enough. You sit alone in your apartment, rain tapping against the window, and you don't crumble. You brew coffee, flip a page, breathe. It's not glamorous, but it's yours. Loneliness teaches you that your roots don't need someone else's soil. They're already in you, deep and stubborn. Stop running and you'll feel them hold. Lesson 2. Silence isn't empty. It's full of you. You've drowned it out. Music, chatter, the hum of a screen. Because silence felt like a threat. Loneliness forces you to face it, and at first it's terrifying. No buffer, just the echo of your own mind. But sit there long enough. 10 minutes, an hour, and it shifts. The quiet isn't a vacuum, it's a canvas painted with your thoughts, your pulse, the creak of your chair. You hear your breath, steady and slow, and it's alive. You catch a memory, a kid laughing, a fight you forgot, and it's yours to hold. Loneliness shows you that silence isn't a void to fear. It's a space where you exist, loud and clear. Stop running and you'll hear it sing. Lesson 3. You can't outrun your shadows. You've tried, scrolling until your eyes blur, working until you drop, laughing until your throat is raw. But loneliness waits anyway, a shadow stitched to your heels. It's the late-night pang when the party ends, the hollow silence after a call cuts off. Stop running, and it steps forward, not to haunt you, but to teach. Those shadows? They're yours. Doubts, grief, dreams you've buried. Sit with them, a couch, a lamp, a notebook. Name them. I miss her. I'm scared I'll fail. They don't bite, they soften. Loneliness proves you can't escape what's part of you, you can only face it. And that's where strength begins. Lesson 4. Connection means more when it's rare. When you're always surrounded, people blur into background noise. Faces, voices, a hum you take for granted. Loneliness flips the script. Alone, days stretch without a text, a hug, a shared laugh, and you feel the weight of absence. Then someone calls, your sister, an old friend, and it's electric. Their voice cracks the quiet. Their words land like gold. You listen harder, laugh deeper, hold on longer. Loneliness teaches you to savor connection, not gulp it down. Stop running, and you'll see every bond glow brighter against the dark. Lesson 5. You learn to forgive yourself. In a crowd, you're distracted. Your faults get lost in the shuffle. Loneliness holds up a mirror, and it's brutal. Every mistake, every flinch staring back. You replay that dumb thing you said, that chance you blew, and it stings. But stay there. Don't bolt. And something shifts. You're alone. No one's judging. And you start to whisper, I was trying. I'm human. Maybe you cry, maybe you laugh, but you soften. Loneliness hands you a chance to let go, not of the past, but of the guilt chaining you to it. Stop running, and you'll find grace in your own reflection. Lesson 6. Your imagination is a lifeline. When the world pulls back, loneliness leaves you with one companion, your mind. You've dulled it before, TV, chatter, endless scrolling, but alone, it flares to life. You're on your bed staring at a crack in the ceiling, and suddenly you're building a story. A city in the clouds, a conversation you'll never have, a version of you that's fearless. It's not escapism, it's survival. Loneliness teaches you that your imagination isn't just a toy, it's a rope pulling you through the quiet. You sketch it, hum it, dream it awake. Stop running, and you'll see it's not a distraction. It's a gift, a spark that lights the dark. Lesson 7. You don't need to be fixed. You've chased it. Company, love, a packed schedule, thinking it would patch the hole loneliness left. It's a reflex. Feel alone. Find a cure. But when you stop running, when you sit with it, no quick fix, no band-aid, something clicks. You're not broken. The ache isn't a flaw to erase, it's a thread in your tapestry, woven with joy, anger, hope. You're sprawled on the floor, a dog-eared book beside you, and you think, this is me. And it's okay. Loneliness shows you that wholeness doesn't need a crowd. It's already there, jagged and beautiful. Stop running, and you'll stop apologizing for it. Lesson 8. Time becomes yours again. Crowds steal it. Plans, small talk, the grind of keeping up. Loneliness gives it back. At first it's daunting. Hours yawn open, no one to fill them. But stand still and it's a revelation. You wake slow, brew tea, watch steam curl in the air. You walk with no rush, noticing frost on a leaf, the smell of damp earth. You own it, every tick, every talk, and it's yours to shape. Loneliness teaches you that time isn't a thief when you're alone. It's a canvas. Stop running and you'll paint it with what matters. Not noise, but you. Lesson 9. You find strength in fragility. Loneliness cracks you open. You're curled on the couch, a blanket too thin, and the tears come. Unplanned, unstoppable. You've dodged this, toughened up, but here it is. You're fragile and it hurts. Yet stay there. Don't flee, and you'll see. It's not weakness, it's power. You cry, you shake, and still you're here. Still breathing. Loneliness strips the armor, exposes the soft spots, and proves they don't break you. They bend you, shape you. You're stronger for it, not despite it. Stop running, and you'll wear that fragility like a badge. Fierce and alive. Lesson 10. You're never truly alone. It sounds absurd, loneliness teaching you this, but it's true. When you stop running, you feel it. The world hums around you. You're on a park bench, alone, and a bird hops near, pecking at crumbs. Wind rustles leaves, a stranger's dog sniffs your shoe. The sun warms your neck. You're part of it, not a part. Even in your quiet room, there's you, your heartbeat, your quirks, your stubborn hope. Loneliness reveals the threads tying you to everything, even when no one is beside you. Stop running, and you'll see. Solitude isn't isolation, it's connection, subtle and vast. Loneliness isn't a sentence, it's a school. We bolt from it, fearing it'll drown us, but it doesn't. It waits, steady, unyielding, until we turn and meet its gaze. These 10 lessons, your anchor, your silence, your shadows, and more, aren't handed out in a rush. They unfold only when you stop running and let the quiet settle. It's not easy. Some days it'll sting, others it'll soar, but each time you stay, you harvest something. Strength, peace, a piece of yourself you'd lost in the noise. Loneliness isn't here to break you, it's here to build you if you let it. So don't run, sit, listen. The lessons are waiting, and they're worth every second of the stillness.